All right, good evening, guys. This is Robert Douglas, Associate Director of Financial Aid for Tuskegee University. Again, in respect for everyone's time, I do like to start on time with these sessions. This is the fourth and final night of our Financial Aid Summer Zoom sessions. Tonight we'll be talking about the cost of attendance and how to interpret your award letter versus the cost. So we have a guest with us tonight that's going to help us through this process. Parents and students alike, I'm sure you'll be appreciative of this experience. Before we begin, I'd like to go ahead and take a moment of silence for those of us who have lost loved ones, friends, relatives, for those of us who may not know anyone personally, but have heard of those deaths that we've had due to COVID-19 and other race relations and social politics that we have going on in our nation. I'd just like to take a minute for a moment of silence for those people we've lost. All right, thank you. All right, so just as a reminder, or just if this is your first call too, you need to know that these sessions are recorded. They will be provided on our website on the financial aid page as well. So if you missed one of the first three sessions, you will be able to go back and see if there's any information on there you might find that's helpful to you. Also, you can always reach out to us in the financial aid department. If you have any questions or concerns about anything, we'll do our best to help you with and assist you with whatever it is that you need. If at any time, if anyone cannot hear me, please let me know, raise your hand, shoot us a chat. If you have any questions during the presentation, please put those questions and comments in the chat. We're going to do our best to manage all of the questions that are being asked. It doesn't seem like we have as many participants this time for this particular session, so it should be a little easier. However, in case it does get a little unmanageable, or just to make sure things continue to go smoothly, we do have Ms. Deanna Winston, who works in the financial aid office, who's going to help us with managing those chat questions. So if you would, please just put those questions in the chat if you have any or concerns, and we'll do our best to address all of them. We will also have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation for any further questions or concerns that you may have. But we are going to try to address, kind of like a conversation, as many things as we can throughout the presentation. So Ms. Winston is going to be communicating with me outside of the chat as well to let me know if there are any further questions that I maybe or didn't make it to. Uh-oh, I think I missed. Okay, I don't know what happened, but I think I got hacked. Hold on one second. All right. So hopefully we're back to my screen again. Can someone give me some confirmation on that? Maybe raise your hand or.
Yes, we see you.
We can see you, Mr. Douglas.
All right.
Yes,
very
we can
popular
see you.
Okay. All right, so before we move forward with the actual presentation, I do want to point out some important information. Fall semester classes begin Tuesday, August 11th. Fall semester move-in days are for new students, August 5th through the 7th, and returning students, August 8th through the 9th. The last day of fall semester classes will be on Tuesday, November 18th, and final exams are going to be held on Thursday, November 19th through November 21st, okay? So these are some important dates. If you have any further questions about how we're handling COVID-19, the transition back to campus during these times. If you have any questions about how we're handling the return to campus this fall, please refer to our website. All of that information begins on our front page, on the home page of our website, tuskegee.edu. And there are pages designated for this information, and they have frequently asked questions in case you have any specifics that you need information about. If you have any particular questions pertaining to financial aid or your account in particular, maybe something that you need to discuss that can't be discussed among other people, private information, which is a lot of what we deal with in financial aid, these are your financial aid counselors. As you know, today we're going over cost of attendance and your award letters. So if you have any discrepancies or have questions about your particular award letter or cost of attendance, please contact your financial aid counselor. If you have any questions about any other opportunities for aid to help cover your balance and what you have that you still need to pay, please reach out to your financial aid counselor for that. Wanda Holly, if your last name begins with the letter A through C, she is your counselor. D through H, Jacqueline Stafford. I also serve as a counselor in addition to associate director. I'm Robert Douglas, and I serve I through MI. MO through SM, Miss Angela Martin. SN through Z, Miss Marilyn Wilson Walker. And these are their direct lines and extensions. I'll bring it up again later in case you didn't get that number. But if you need it, please again, just put it in the chat. We'll be more than happy to share that information with you. Ms. Winston, if you will, please just add the general contact information for our office as well. All right, so cost of attendance. There are actually different parts of this. When you refer to cost of attendance, there are both direct and indirect costs. Direct costs are what you're responsible for paying at Tuskegee University. Indirect costs are things that we factor into your costs for your education, which allows us to award you up to that amount. Because of course, and this is something that's federal regulated, excuse my tongue, but the government won't allow us to award a student above their cost of attendance. So when it comes to combined direct and indirect costs, it lets us know that they understand that it costs more for a student to attend school and be successful than actually just paying the fees that the institution has. All right, so when we talk about those direct costs versus indirect, and I'm going to go over that too. Direct costs are tuition, required fees, room and board. And board, in case you don't know, that's your meal plan, okay? These are the direct costs that come from Tuskegee University. You also have your indirect costs. Your indirect costs are things like transportation, personal expenses, books and supplies, and also loan fees. In case you don't know, the federal government actually does take out a loan fee for every loan that you borrow from them. Many private lenders do the same. So this means if you borrow, let's say $100 from the federal government, a percentage of that, let's say $10, is going to come out before they actually send the institution funding to go onto your account to go against your expenses. So in actuality, you will have $90 going against your account, although you borrowed $100. This is because the federal government takes out a loan fee. If you want more details on that, you can always visit studentaid.gov and Google that information, or search for it, not Google, I'm sorry. Search for that information on that site. You could do a general Google query to see what the current loan fees are for the federal subsidized and unsubsidized loans, also for Parent Plus loans and Grad Plus loans. These are all federal loans that definitely have loan fees, and you can research that. Again, some private lenders have loan fees as well. So because we know there's an accounting for that, the federal government allows us to award you up to a cost of attendance, which includes a predetermined indirect cost. So we've made estimates for you already. Federal government has approved it, plus the direct costs, which gives us the maximum we can provide you in any type of award, okay? and we'll go over the types of awards in a second. The direct cost of attendance at Tuskegee University for the 2020-2021 academic year for undergraduate students is what you see on your screen. It's approximately $32,523. Okay, now if you look at the actual listing, you'll see there's an asterisk besides room and board. That is because, and you can see the description at the bottom, or the explanation, but it's because room charges will depend on the residence hall you are assigned to. Different dorms have different fees. So if you want details on what that actual dorm costs, if you haven't been assigned that room yet, you can look at the general fees, or if you're looking to change dorms, general fees are always listed under tuition and fees on the Bursars page. If you just go to the website, tuskegee.edu, under tuition and fees, or under admissions and aid, you can click on tuition and fees and get details of what the fees are, okay? But let's say in a direct costs at Tuskegee are gonna be between $32,000 and $35,000. So that could be up to $17,500 per semester. And your direct costs, as I mentioned, includes your tuition, room and board, technology fee, student activity fee, insurance fee, renter's insurance if you're staying on campus, same thing for room and board, and your ID card fee. If you're staying off campus, you may not have this room and board fee, okay? You do have the option of getting a meal plan if you're staying off campus, but it is not included in your costs. So everyone's award letter, everyone's direct costs is not going to be the same. If you're a full-time undergraduate student, and generally speaking, if you're staying on campus. If you're a graduate student, the tuition will be about the same. But if you're a veterinary medicine student, the tuition is going to be more so about $41,000 rather than the $19,000 that you see there. So there are some differences if you're in a specialized program. Again, if you want to know exactly where you are, contact your financial aid counselor, and you'll see in a minute where there's someone else who can be of great help to you too on campus. All right, so this is what your award letter looks like in general. As you can see, this is Mr. Robert Douglas's award letter. I am Robert Douglas, this is not a real student, just to clarify. But on your award letter, you see I have boxes where there's personal information I have not included. You'll have your student identification number in the top right-hand box. That middle box on the left side will be your first name, dear so-and-so, and then you'll have your awards listed. Now, if you're an incoming student, freshman, graduate, or if you're an incoming transfer student, you'll actually get one of these award letters. If you have not, then please contact your counselor directly to see what we can do about that. But if you are an upperclassman, you will not receive an award letter in the mail or via email, okay? This award letter is accessed upon your TigerWeb account. Some of you entering students may also have access to your TigerWeb accounts already, which means that you can go ahead and check your award letters, your statements, et cetera, et cetera. You can even see your classes in the TigerWeb system, set up payments, a variety of things on TigerWeb. So hopefully you already have access. What I want to talk about now is the circle part at the bottom. These are how your awards are listed. And as you can see, there are different types. There's a TU tuition grant, which if you're not familiar, that is a scholarship that's offered by our institution to incoming students, to qualified students. There's also the federal Pell Grant that you see, subsidized loan and unsubsidized loans. It then lists a total, okay? Now, we will probably be making some changes to make sure that this is split between fall and spring and that you can see what the semester totals are individually. However, right now, I do want to point out that this shows the total award for the academic year, which means that this is the combined fall and spring award, which means the award that you see on the screen will be split between the fall and spring semesters, okay? Again, The awards you see on your award letter are split between the fall and spring semesters. So if you're trying to make a budget for what you need for this upcoming year, understand that that $11,795 that you see on the screen is for fall and spring. So you would be putting it against that full cost of attendance budget between 32 and 35,000. Okay. If you split it, then you'll be putting it against that 17,500. You only need to be cleared financially for the fall semester to start the fall semester. Okay. This means that you need to make sure that your expenses are covered by some type of aid before you can start in the fall semester. If you are an incoming student and you are, or an incoming, transfer, continuing, all students who are going to be attending school in the fall semester, you cannot get all of your awards within the fall semester. And when I say awards, I'm referring to federal loans. You cannot get all of that money in the fall semester unless you are a graduating senior that semester. And if you have questions about that, then you can ask your particular financial aid counselor for details. If you are in the spring semester and you have not utilized any of your qualified federal loan awards, then you can utilize up to that maximum amount that you can get for the academic year, all within the spring semester. And if you haven't utilized all of that in fall and spring, you can use it in summer. Those are other conversations that we can have. Pell Grant cannot be changed like that. It's split between fall and spring, and that's it. You have that amount for fall, you have that amount for spring. You don't attend fall, you still have the same amount in spring, okay? And that's how federal Pell Grant is operated. When you have these loans on your account and these grants and these scholarships and other awards, when you go onto TigerWeb, you may see different statuses for these awards. The statuses that you may see for institutional scholarships, like the TU tuition grant that we just saw, or outside scholarships, or also federal grants like Pell Grant, or work study, or private loans, could be at a pending P status or accepted A status, okay? If your award, if you have a scholarship that's at P status and you're enrolled as a student for that semester, please contact your financial aid counselor so we can make a change or at least explain to you why that's that way. If it's at a pending status, it will not go against your charges on your account. So that means that the bursar office will not be able to see that award. Outside scholarships. Once we receive the funding for those outside scholarships, that status will be changed to accepted. Until we receive the actual money for the scholarship, it will remain at a P status for pending. The bursar office will take into account that you have these outside scholarships coming in if they're at a P status until we get to a certain point in the semester. Once we get to a certain point in the semester, if we haven't received the funding or if that P status isn't at A, that means that that is not being counted against your bill anymore, okay? So make sure you communicate with the outside scholarship providers to go ahead and send us the money and not just the award letter saying they're gonna send it so it can be counted against your statement. Work study, if you have federal work study, it's the same thing for federal grants. Once we get the funding in, for federal grants, once we put that award on your account, we move it to A status. But if it's not at A status, contact us, let us know so we can do so. It's usually because something's missing. Work study, we don't move that to A status until you've actually signed your contract, and that's institutional or federal work study. Once you sign your contract, we move it to A status so those funds can be dispersed to you in paychecks, okay? So you'll be moved over to payroll. Private loans, we continue to have that at P status, just like outside scholarships, until the funding is actually dispersed to us from whatever agency you're borrowing from. With the federal loans, I'm sorry?
Wait, didn't you think I didn't like the phone? No.
Okay. I'm about to. All right. I have muted everyone. We're going to move forward. All right. So federal loans, when you're, and please everyone, if you're, you know, you do have the capability of unmuting yourself, but let's keep in mind that we're all on this call together. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. All right. When it comes to the types of awards and their statuses with federal loans, if it's at an E, that's an estimated amount. That's what we do initially. When we award your account, it goes on at an estimated value to indicate what you're qualified for. This is us letting you know and confirming with the federal government should have confirmed with you already through your student aid report. But this is us putting it onto your account as estimated until you submit to us the federal direct loan application. That's what we need in order to change that E to a C. This is the federal direct loan application. We cannot certify that loan, and it would not go against the expenses that you have on your account until we certify it. And we cannot certify that loan until you submit this document to us. It is an internal document that you can find on tuskegee.edu under admissions aid, click on financial aid, and you can go under financial aid forms and you'll see a list of documents. We need the TU financial aid data form. We also need the federal direct loan application. This is what you're looking at now. If you want to certify those federal loans and use that to help pay for your education, we need this document. It is not required. If you don't want to borrow federal loans, you don't have to do that. You may have other means for paying for your bill. Hopefully you chimed into our session on that too. Those circles that I have on there is something I want to point out. I want to make sure that you understand that you need to actually fill in the amount that you want to borrow for each loan type. As you can see, the first circle indicates the amount for the subsidized loan. Moving left to right, you have the unsubsidized loan blank, and then you have the additional unsubsidized loan blank. The additional unsubsidized loan funding, and you can see all of the qualifying scales in the top chart above you, or table. In the table above that, you'll see the qualifying scales. The additional unsubsidized loan amount is only available to those students who are independent, or if you're a dependent student, your parent has to be denied the Parent Plus loan in order for you to get that unsubsidized loan amount. And you cannot have both on your account, okay? On the back page of that unsubsidized loan, many people only flip it over and sign it and date it. But I need to make sure I point out some details to you. Yes, it is important that you provide your student signature and date it, and it has to be the student signature because these loans are. But you need to also make sure that you follow the instructions that is circled at the top. If you are a first-time borrower, as a Tuskegee University student from the federal government, then you need to complete a master promissory note, and you also need to complete entrance counseling. Entrance counseling is if you're a first-time borrower at Tuskegee University as a Tuskegee University student, okay? Once you leave Tuskegee University, you'll complete exit counseling to let the federal government know that, hey, I've completed my education at this school, I'm graduating, I'm gone, okay? Nobody else can borrow under my name. But you do need to complete entrance counseling and a master promissory note. You can do all of this at studentaid.gov. Studentaid.gov. All right. Right, again, I told you I would bring up the contact information for financial aid staff. Here it is. At this time, I want to ask Mr. A.D. James, who is our executive director at the university, to introduce himself. Mr. James?
Good evening, everyone. I had to unmute myself, Mr. Douglas. I couldn't find the unmute button.
Yes, let everybody see you too.
No. I can't hear myself with that. But I
Okay.
appreciate everyone coming out and visiting with us today and this evening. And Mr. Douglas, you're starting out real good on time on the mute picture. Okay, there I am. I'm glad we have some nice participants and we have some nice questions. And Miss Winston is quoting on chat, and Miss Henderson is also responding to. So keep those questions coming. We'll try our best to answer them during this hour presentation that Mr. Douglas is doing. And again, thank you for attending our session.
Thank you, Mr. James. All right, so at this time, and I'm glad you mentioned Miss Henderson. Miss Stacy Henderson is one of our bursars here at the university. And at this time, I'm going to ask her, hey, Miss Henderson, there's your beautiful face.
Hi.
Are you ready to take over?
Yes. Okay, let me get to the point of sharing my screen. Okay.
Oh, let me stop sharing mine. It may help you.
Okay, thank Mr. Douglas for that warm introduction. Again, I'm Stacy Henderson, one of the bursars at Tuskegee University. He did ask me to join tonight so that we can go over navigating your student account. And you should, everybody see my screen fine? Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Douglas already did speak to the direct cost, but again, we have this tuition and fees screen where it will let you know what the cost is per year for graduate, undergraduate, and veterinary medicine. For undergraduate, the tuition is $19,594 per year, and that's for 12 to 18 hours. If you exceed the 18 hours, there is a charge for each individual hour over that amount. So you want to stay within that 12 to 18 hour range to get just the basic full-time tuition charge. The mandatory fees for a student attending Tuskegee are the technology fee is $632 per year, activity fee $1142 per year, ID fee $72 per year, and health insurance $1174 per year. And those are all mandatory fees that will remain on the account, whether the student is virtual or on campus. Also, we have the non-refundable room reservation fee, which will be $200 per year. And then we have the double occupancy for the dorms. As Mr. Douglas said, based on which dorm that you're in, that will range from $2,270 per semester to $2,892 per semester. And that again depends on the dorm. The board plan is the meal plan. That is $26.52 per semester. That's required for all students in the residence hall. We do have some optional meal plans for those students who live in the apartments or live off campus. If you don't desire to get the full board plan, but you do want to have points or meals in case you're on campus and you want to go by the cafeteria or any of the eating establishments, you can buy an optional meal plan to go on your account. You will have to pay for that plan up front. That's not anything that can be charged to the account unless you have financial aid to cover that amount. Otherwise, that will be a plan that will have to be paid for upfront out of pocket. To determine your out-of-pocket costs, we'll start with your tuition fees, room and board. That's your total expenses. And it's reduced by your financial aid resources, which are your federal grants, loans, private loans, outside scholarships, and scholarships from the university. As Mr. Douglas did state, if that scholarship from an outside agency is on the financial aid screen and at a status of pending, or accepted, we will go ahead and use that to count towards the balance due. Now, once you take your charges or total expenses minus your financial aid resources, that will give you your out-of-pocket cost. What I put up here for you now is a sample of our registration statement that some of you have received, some of you should be receiving. Your registration statement is generated based upon your class schedule. So if you don't have a class schedule, you won't have any charges yet. So for those who are still waiting your schedules, once those schedules are in the system, we will bill you and send you out this registration statement. It's divided into three sections. The first section will be a summary of everything. So it will be a balance forward. You should not have one, but in some cases, some students will, but it will be a total of your current charges. Then you'll have cash, credit card, check payments, any out-of-pocket payments you made to the university, any financial aid that has been transmitted to your account, or this is going to be a student for the fall, no financial aid has been transmitted. And then it will tell the financial aid that the student has been awarded or that's waiting to be transmitted, and that's the $16,446. So in this case, this student will owe $275 to the university. That's that important line that you want to look for on your billing statement, the total amount due from the student. Up under that will be the explanation of your charges, and basically it will be a breakdown of your tuition, fees, room and board. We do bill one semester at a time, so while those costs were shown to you annually, we clear and bill one semester at a time. So those fees that were on an annual basis, you will get this billing statement. It will show you your activity fee, technology fee, ID fee, health insurance, and tuition for one semester. If you have any lab fees or anything, that will also be included in this statement. You will see the board, that's your meal plan. For new students, you'll see the charge for the enrollment fee and the room reservation fee. That will be on there because that was a charge that was posted to your account. Up top, you did see where it was paid. Right here where you see the out-of-pocket payment of $400. That was the payment for that $400 fees that's represented on that statement there. Then you have the room rate, which is for the dorm, and the rental insurance charge. So the tuition and fees, $11,307. The room and the reservation fees are $58.14, bringing that total to $17,121. That's where that pool up here on the current charge is $17,121. Then finally, on the last page of your registration statement, you will see your financial aid award. The student will have Pell Grant, as Mr. Douglas said, although your award letter shows it on an annual basis, on your billing statement, it will show the amount that you are getting per semester. It will show your SEOG of $1,000, the TU grant for $4,000, and this statement will show your loans reflective of those fees that have already come out. So while this parent may have borrowed more, it will reflect the loan after those fees have come out, which is giving them financial aid for $16,446. And so as that summary page would show, you have your total charges, $17,121, out-of-pocket payment of $400, and the financial aid $16,446, which will let you know that remaining amount due from the student or parent, which is the out-of-pocket amount that's due to the school. Now, at the bottom of this statement, we will have some important information for you. Now, this will show that the payment is due by Friday, July 31st. Late fees are assessed August the 3rd. And it's just telling you, you must be financially cleared to check into the dorm. Once you have determined your out-of-pocket fees or payment, you can do that one of two ways. The first way, if you choose to pay in full, you can pay by cash, check, or credit card to the cashier. Now, the cashier cannot take a check by phone. If you're going to pay by check, you will have to mail that check in to the university. If it is a personal check, it will have to clear our check payment system. You can also sign on to your Tiger Web account and make that payment using Visa, MasterCard, Discover, or American Express. And below you'll see the link to Tiger Web, which is www.tuskegee.edu/Tiger Web. You should have your sign-on information. If you do not have that information, You can contact the admissions office. I think they send that information out with the enrollment, or the help desk. They should be able to assist you at signing on Tiger Web also. The second option, we offer an outside payment plan through a vendor, Nelnet/TMS. Now, with the payment plan, the maximum that you can put on the plan is $6,000 per semester. So any amount over that $6,000 that is not covered by financial aid will have to be paid up front to the school in order to financially clear. With the $6,000 that you're putting on the plan, we have two options. The first option is a 5-month plan. That plan began July 1st and it will end November 1st. If you install the full $6,000, your payment would be $1,200 per month, due on the 1st of each month. So if you choose to go back and do the 5-month plan, you will have to go back and make that July 1st payment, and also the August 1st payment will be due prior to school starting. The second option is the 4-month plan. It goes from August 1st to November 1st. And if you install the full $6,000, your payment would be $1,500 per month. You must pay the enrollment fee of $65 and the first payment, whether it be the July or August payment at the time that you enroll. And your plan must be current at the time you're financially clear. And so you would sign up for that payment plan at tuskegee.afford.com, or we have a telephone number for them. It's 1-800-722-4867. If you need that information later, I will provide that again for you. Just some important information to remember. All new and returning students must be financially cleared to check into housing. So please ensure that you are cleared before you arrive on campus, because you will not be able to check into your housing if you're not cleared. We did begin mailing the billing statements on July 1st. So some students have received their statements, some are still in process of receiving them. As classes go in or students pre-enroll, that's a continual process where we continue to mail billing statements each day. However, you can access your account on Tiger Web. Look at your account statement. Be aware that the account statement is just a list of your charges at this point. It does not subtract any financial aid. If you go to your summary of account, the summary will subtract the financial aid and let you know that remaining balance due. However, you will have to view the aid that you awarded under the financial aid award screen. The last day for students to enroll in any classes is August the 14th by the close of business. But keep in mind, late fees began on August the 3rd. If you have not paid and financially cleared prior to August the 3rd, there is a $300 late fee. All payments must be made by August 14th to avoid your schedule being deleted. For those students who have not financially cleared as the close of business August the 14th, we will delete those schedules from the system. You will be given 3 days to reinstate. It's the period from August the 17th to August the 21st to reinstate that schedule. There will be an additional fee of $100 in addition to the late fee. So that's a $400 fee if your schedule is deleted. You'll get the late fee and the reinstatement fee. There will not be new schedules put in the system at that time. In other words, if you're deleted, you can only get reinstated if you already had classes in the system. You can't come and add new classes to the system. And the threshold for financial clearance, that's always a question that we have. How much of my balance do I have to pay? We will work with the student who has that balance down less than $1,000. We will financially clear you with that balance due to the university without it being enrolled on a payment plan. It used to be $500, but due to COVID, we have increase that balance to $1,000. So if your balance is $1,000 or less, we will financially clear you with that balance, and you have to pay that prior to the end of the semester. Now, for refunds, a student must be in class at least 1 week before financial aid can post to the account. A lot of students will say, my financial aid haven't posted. You have to be in class at least a week before financial aid posts. So the date is actually August the 18th that we will begin to post financial aid to the account and start the refund process. The refund process takes up to 14 days from the date the credit appears in order for the refund to go to you, and you choose how you would like your refund to come back, either electronically or you will get a paper check to the address available on the system for you. Now, for electronic refunds, you have to sign into Tiger Web, go under U.S. banking information, enter the correct routing and account number. If that information is not correct, the bank will reject those transactions. You will have to wait until the bank returns that money, correct your account, and then we will have to send that back out again by electronic transfer. For parent loans, parents who borrow parent loans and are getting a refund off of that parent loan, when you do that loan application, you select how you want that refund to go back. You can say the student or yourself. If you say it yourself, a refund will be generated to you in the form of a paper check by the address that's on that application. And so it won't go to that student account because we don't have a way of determining whose account information is on Tiger Web. So those refunds will come out in the form of paper. And finally, contact information for the Office of the Bursar. We're located in Kresge Center, room 108. But if you have to mail something to us, it's Office of the Bursar, Tuskegee University, 1200 West Montgomery Road, Kresge Center, room 108, Tuskegee, Alabama, 36088. Please include that building and room number. If you just do the 1200 West Montgomery Road, it can go anywhere on campus. Telephone number for the Bursar's office, 334-727-8538. The cashier, there are 2 lines, 334-727-8525 and 334-727-8418. Because we only have 2 cashiers, and of course those lines are flooded a lot of times, so we do encourage you to make your payment via Tiger Web. You know, do as much electronically as possible. We do try to answer all calls and return those calls, which we cannot answer and we have voicemails for. But during the registration time, it is extremely busy. So please just have patience with us on that. If you need to email, you can email myself at shenderson@tuskegee.edu or lgray@tuskegee.edu. And below is the website to get to the Bursars page. And that's the end of my presentation. I hope that was informative for you.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask a question
Yes.
for Miss, is it Sheridanson? Am I saying that right? Is that your name?
Henderson. All right. So we do
Henderson.
have some other people who had questions also that were put in the chat. As I mentioned before, if you have a question,
I'll put it in the chat. Okay.
yes.
All right. Let me comply.
All right. Thank you. But I do want to bring up, Ms. Henderson, you did have a couple of questions. One of them was pertaining to health insurance and asking if it was required. I did mention in the chat that it's university policy. Do you have anything to add to that?
That is correct. Health insurance is a mandatory charge and it is required by the university. So that is not a waivable fee.
Okay. Someone else asked, they said they were trying to enter the electronic system, which I believe is a payment plan, they said they were not able to enter they said they were able to enter account information, but when they were asked how they wanted the information communicated,
Okay.
they cannot select email. So do they have to have their university email pertaining to that information?
For the payment plan,
Right.
no, it does not have to be a university email.
All right. Someone also asked for your email. I'm sure you're okay with me giving that out, right?
Uh-huh. It is. I'll put it in chat.
Okay.
Okay, so I just put my email out in chat.
Brought up the financial aid screen again. I made a correction to Miss Marilyn Wilson Walker's phone number. I had it wrong. I apologize for that. Thank you to Miss Winston for catching that. But for anyone whose last name begins with SN through Z, I have corrected her phone number. The last 4 digits were wrong. Last 4 are 4860. Like Ms. Henderson said, you can reach out to us as well directly via phone and email address. I would say email is probably the best way to contact your financial aid counselor. We are also receiving a lot of calls during this registration period, so bear with us. There are a lot of people also trying to make transitions due to COVID, and this is a new process for everyone. So work with us, and we're trying to assist you the best way we can.
Okay.
You want to talk about that next email you put in there, Ms. Pearson?
Which one? Oh, Mrs. Gray is also the other bursar at Tuskegee. And so she will be able to answer any questions, any emails. That's the other email you can email to also with your questions.
All right, someone said that financial aid will not be available until the 2nd week. So will students need to pay the amount, then wait for reimbursement? I can tackle that one unless you want to.
Oh, I was gonna say, no, any financial aid that is awarded on the financial aid screen will automatically be counted towards payment of tuition and fees. What I'm saying as far as reimbursement, if you have more than what the cost is, once that money posts and generates a credit, that's the 2-week wait to get a refund. But no, as long as your financial aid has been awarded and is on that financial aid screen as a pending or accepted award, then we will count that money towards the payment of your tuition and fees. And one thing that I did not mention is on your award letter, outside scholarships will not print, nor will private loans print out on that award letter, but we do have the capability of seeing those awards, and we will count those toward payment also.
While we're waiting on other questions, I do want to pop up a poll for everyone. If you would, please take a few minutes, give us some feedback on how you feel about the presentation. It's just a few questions. If you would just take a minute to give us this feedback, it allows us to know what we need to improve on. And also, you know, positive feedback is good too, so. And while we're doing that, I'm going to bring up a screen too. This shows 2 major resources for partnerships that we have through the university: the United Negro College Fund and the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. If you go to uncf.org, you can get to the United Negro College Fund. If you go to tmcf.org, you can get to Thurgood Marshall. We have the unique opportunity as an institution to have a partnership with both of these organizations. Usually it's one or the other or neither. So please help us to keep this opportunity available for future students and current students by going in and completing applications for these scholarships. Each organization has a general scholarship application, but they also have, you know, other opportunities that funnel through their organizations worth billions of dollars. Okay, so let's and that's every year. So even if you're a continuing student, graduate, undergrad, check out these sites for some opportunities. Someone said, how do I add the email address to bank information if the area is not highlighted?
You don't have to have an email in there. Just make sure your routing number and account number are correct.
Okay, so someone asked if the basis for these scholarships, financial need or grades. So when you say scholarships, I'm assuming that you're referring to either, and I'm going to cover both, the institutional scholarships we were referring to, or you might be referring to UNCF and Thurgood Marshall. So I'll tackle both and say that if you are an incoming student, undergrad or transfer, those institutional scholarships that we give, that are given through our admissions department, are based off of academic merit. So they review your transcripts from whatever schools you're coming from, high school or colleges you're transferring from, to make a determination on your qualifications. And this can mean, if you're a transfer student, credit completion. For both high school and transfer students, the GPAs are looked at. And for high school students coming in as freshmen, your SAT and ACT scores are also looked at for determination for these qualifications. So they are not necessarily need-based, but there may be some other opportunities for some need-based funding that may be given that does not funnel through the financial aid office as far as scholarships goes. Now, for the Thurgood Marshall College Fund and the United Negro College Fund, they have a plethora of aid out there. Some of it is need-based. Some of it is merit-based. Some of it is situational. It's all different. You have to go out and search for it. I know it can be stressful. I know it can be a lot of work sometimes. It's like a part-time job, you know, just searching for ways to pay for school. But in the end, it is worth it. UNCF actually has some people who will help you with essay writing and things of that nature too. They make an annual visit to campus. So we also have a UNCF day where they'll come and go over some of the funding that they have, in addition to ways to fill out these applications and do the essays. So I think it's well worth it for everyone to at least look into the opportunities on with both of these organizations.
And let me jump in right quick and say this: for those who are going on to TigerWeb filling out for the banking information, please make sure you are on a laptop or a desktop and ensure that you are in Internet Explorer or Firefox. Otherwise, it won't update properly.
Okay, so someone said their daughter qualified for a higher merit scholarship, but was given something else. So these scholarships are also, they had a deadline. So the admissions department was working with a deadline when they made the decisions to award this aid. So and within that deadline, it was also other determining factors, but the qualifications are listed on the website. If you go under scholarships, and under admissions or freshman scholarships, you can see the qualifications up front. And then these are highly competitive. Remember that. There's a lot of competition out there for this aid. So the admissions department may have used some other factors to make that determination. If you have questions about yours, thank you, Ms. Winston, who put that phone number for the admissions department in the chat. So if you're listening, refer to the chat. You can get the number to the admissions department to reach out to them to ask questions about your particular account and what you were awarded as an incoming student. The Zoom meeting recordings will be available on the financial aid page. We'll speak with the Bursar office if they want to make any availability anywhere else, but I think that the main resource will be the financial aid page. Once we finish working with our IT department on the conversion and upload. Now that we've had our last session, we're going to move forward with getting that so everyone will have access to them. And that will be all 4 of the nights that we had these presentations. Work study jobs are not yet available for you to apply to. When you come to campus, you will be able to complete the work study signing process at that time if you have been awarded. If the award is not on your account, that means you don't have work study. Maybe you need to speak to your counselor or your department about that. There are 2 different types. There's federal work study, and there's also institutional work study. But you will be required for you to sign a contract for you to continue that work study position, but that won't be done until you get to campus. Our work study portal should be updated by that time as well. So we will have those positions available for you to apply for.
Okay, can I just verbally ask a question?
Sure. Hey, we get it. Go ahead.
Because, if you have a lot of questions. Okay, so the institutional work study, does that require, it doesn't require like a federal, like the FOSFA or whatever. If you just need a job to help out, with personal expenses while you're on campus, is that work study too, or is that something different?
So there's a difference between having a job, part-time job, and having a work study position, even though it's part-time. Institutional work study is granted by the department that is providing that job. The difference between federal and institutional work study is federal work study is awarded from a budget that the federal government has given us. That means that the federal government is paying these students. The institutional work study is paying out of the budget from the department that hired that student. And it is up to them who they hire.
Okay.
So yes, those positions are available through certain departments on campus. Now, if a student can also get a job, I know we have a couple of contracts with some companies that help us out on campus that students have gotten jobs with. For instance, and just for an example, Thompson facility, that helps us with our, food.
Cafeteria.
Cafeteria and cleaning services also, right? Mm-hmm. So they have hired students directly, but that is not university or work study related. That is strictly a part-time job, and they have the sole decision about whether or not to hire that student into that position. Just like any other company that may be within the city or nearby, if students want to get part-time positions with them, they can do so, even if it's not work study related. I hope I answered your question.
You did. And so the federal ones, you have to qualify for that. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is
okay.
Need-based funding.
Okay.
And if you have questions, and it is first come, first serve. So if you have questions about that, please reach out to your financial aid counselor.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. We got 10 out of 13 people on the poll. I think one of those people was me. And it's interesting.
Okay. I have one other question.
Okay.
So on the financial aid website, there is something about a Perkins loan. We don't have to do anything with that. All this for the FOSFA, the direct subsidized and unsubsidized loans. All you have to do is the master promissory note and the other thing, and the
entrance counseling.
The counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure.
Where did you see something about Perkins loan?
It's on the financial aid website under one of those tabs.
Okay.
The Perkins exit.
Okay, yeah, it might be referring to Perkins Excellent. So just so everyone knows, we actually do not offer the Perkins loan anymore.
Yeah, that program is closed.
Okay.
All right, I don't see any more questions rolling in. 7 o'clock. I think we've taken up a good bit of your evening. Thank you for Miss Henderson for chiming in today.
All right.
Appreciate your feedback. Very helpful. Mr. James, appreciate you giving your introduction, and thank you very much to Ms. Winston as well for helping us manage the chat and all of these questions, letting me know what Bursar needs to ask too. I know you don't have Ms. Henderson's number, so.
All right.
All right, so thank you all for attending, and please.
Shout out to Miss Gray. She was on also.
Oh, Miss Gray too, hey. Miss Gray, do you want to say something?
Hello, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you.
Hello. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Gray and Ms. Henderson co-bursar together. We really appreciate everything that both of them do for our department or for our institution. So anyway, we'll let you guys go. Have a great one. We'll post the videos, okay?
All right. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.